Okay, I'm gonna try this again. Hey you guys, how are you tonight? Hey, I don't know what you're doing for dinner, but it's time for me to get moving on dinner. It's 6:25 almost here in Boise. So I gotta get moving. So one thing, we're gonna have a really simple dinner tonight because I've been working most of the day. So we're doing some salmon patties and then probably some broccoli with that. And I wanted to make some cornbread. And I thought, why don't I show you how I make my lovely cornbread that I am such a fan of. Okay, so first of all, this is my recipe. I get it out of this cookbook. I bet some of you guys have this cookbook too. The Better Homes and Garden Cookbook. This is it, the cornbread recipe right here. And it's so simple. I just think that mixes don't always taste so great. And it's so simple to make your own. It's so fast. Why not? So I'm going to make this in my favorite, one of my favorite stones. Now, this particular stone is not in the catalog anymore. I'm sorry to say, but there is one that's a white square baker. It's $47, but this is my square baker, and it's the one I love. You can see why, because it's so well seasoned. And one of the tricks to this cornbread is it says to melt a little bit of butter in the stone in the oven while you gather your ingredients. So when you pour in your batter, oh, it's so good once it bakes. Has a really neat crust to it. All right, so let's finish up. I've already started a little bit with my dry ingredients. So I've got the flour and I've got the sugar in here, but I need to put in the baking powder. And I really recommend that you write the date of when you purchase your baking powder or baking soda, because you've got to have fresh ingredients if you want it to work. So hey, Amy and Courtney, how are you guys? All right, so this calls for 2½ teaspoons of baking powder. So what I like is I'm going to use my adjustable measuring spoon because I can just, it goes all the way up to a tablespoon. So I'm just going to dial to 2½ teaspoons and get some of the baking powder here. Okay. All right, that's done. And then it also calls for a little bit of salt. 3/4 teaspoon. A teaspoon, adjustable. Goes all the way to 1/8, you guys. Very hard to find one that goes all the way to 1/8. So just dial it down to 3/4. And get your salt. Okay. And then we're gonna just mix those dry ingredients together. All right, mix that together. I'm using the batter bowl because I love the batter bowl. Some of you have the older version of the batter bowl where the handle connects and they don't nest very well. I don't know how many years ago it was. It's been a while. They redesigned these and now you can stack. The batter bowl is so much easier. The small and the large, the classic. Okay, we're supposed to add in also some corn meal, and it's 3/4 cup. Now, I have learned by doing cooking shows that a lot of people don't know there's a difference between dry and measuring cup ingredient, measuring dry ingredients and measuring liquid. It's really important that you use the right tool when you measure liquids or solids. And so this is a dry measuring cup set. This is what you use to measure flour and sugar and just brown sugar and things like that. This is for liquids, all right? And our set comes with a 1 cup, a 2 cup, and a 4 cup. And I like these because you actually read them from the top. So they're very easy to get an accurate measurement. So we needed to do some cornmeal here, and it's 3/4 cup. And I like that we have a little leveler too. I'm not digging around for a knife. All right, so let's get some cornmeal. Do you guys add anything else to your cornbread? Some people add corn or peppers or things like that. I'm pretty plain Jane. I don't usually add much more than that. I'll tell you what, those people in the South know how to make cornbread. Yummy. I'm a huge fan. You guys put honey under your cornbread or anything like that other than butter? I just love butter on mine. Okay, so we've got our dry ingredients and now we've got to do our liquids. So I've already got 2 eggs beaten here in the stainless steel mixing bowl. Okay, 2 beaten eggs. And then I'm supposed to add in a 1/4 cup of melted butter. So I got out my silicone prep bowl. I love these. See how flexible they are? And I just put in 4 tablespoons of butter and melted that in my microwave. And very, very easy to just pour that in. You could also, the recipe says you could use vegetable oil, but I think butter tastes better. And then it calls for a cup of milk. So see how I can just, let me move this so you can see. I can just put this right on my counter and pour it in up to the 1 cup measure mark. And I get a really accurate measurement. Love that. Okay, I'm gonna put that in to my egg mixture. And you guys, that is it. You just mix this together with a good whisk. I hope you have a really good whisk. I hope your whisk is not rusted or the tines aren't all bent. If you get one of our whisks, it'll be the last whisk you ever have to buy because you want one that's gonna last forever. Why have to always replace your stuff, right? And then now we're just gonna pour in the eggs and the milk into the dry ingredients. And then we're gonna give that a stir. Now this is where you could add mix-ins like corn or chili, green chilies, other things like that, but my family's pretty plain Jane about it. We just like your basic cornbread mixture. And you wanna just mix this until all the dry ingredients are incorporated. You don't need to overmix it. It's okay if it has some lumps in it. That's totally normal. Don't worry about it. So do you see why make a mix when you can just, it's so simple to make your own, and I think it tastes so much better, honestly. I really do. And you know what the ingredients are. It doesn't have all this extra added things. All right, let me pour this into the pan. I need a scraper. All right, so let me put this where you can see. I've got my baking stone with my lovely melted butter. And I'm just gonna pour this in. I think you guys can see. The scrapers, man, they don't leave anything behind, do they? Not a thing. And that is it. And then you guys, it only takes 15 minutes to bake this cornbread and then it's done. So it's really fast. I think it's a really good pick for going with my salmon patties that I'm gonna do tonight. And so this will go in the oven, and then I will post a picture for you guys of what the end result is so you can see how pretty it looks when it's done. But that is all there is to it. You could also make these into muffins if you wanted to, but we don't usually do that. We usually just make a pan like this, and there's usually a couple pieces left over for the next day, but not very often. So, all right, if you have any questions, post them below in the comments. I'd be happy to answer your questions, and I hope dinner tonight is really good at your house too. Bye.